This is the lesson that most artists avoid because it feels very complicated. But if you understand this one thing, your artwork gets instantly better. You don't even have to memorize it. I keep a reference right by my desk. I will give you that reference in the Facebook group as a downloadable, so you don't even have to think about this. After we get through this first small part, I'm going to do a demo that's going to make all of this make sense. And I'm going to show you the exact pencils to take your work from good to great in minutes. There are two types of colors: red, orange, yellow, your warm colors. They remind you of fire. Blue, green, and violet, they're cool colors. They remind you of ice. This could be further broken down because each color has a warm and a cool version. Here we have a sampling, it's not all of them, of some of the warm colors in the Prismacolor set. And I did the same thing for the cool colors. There are two other categories that we need to talk a little bit more in depth about. The next group we're going to talk about are your neutrals. Those are your grays. There's a couple of others thrown in there. Some of your browns, your light umber, your dark umber. Now, I put a star next to sienna brown. Sienna brown can be used to neutralize just about any color in the Prismacolor set. And of course, there's your French grays and two others, the beige sienna and the grayed lavender. Middle colors, because they change. Think of it as the middle child. You add warm next to one of these colors and they lean towards the warm side. If you add a cool color next to this color, they act like cool colors. So they're a nice little group, and I'm leaving you a list. Here is the cheat sheet. The first thing you do is you pick up your peach pencil, your light peach, like everybody starts their skin tones, and you start coloring in your skin tone. And then you build up from that. And then what do is you say, oh, I want to make it a little bit more dramatic. I'm going to put in some shadows. And over that, you put in your shadows. And then you look at it and you've got mud. Doesn't look right. It's because you did it backwards. We're going to do it the easy way. And you just follow the cheat sheet. The very first pencil on your page is going to be grayed lavender or beige sienna. If you want a darker shadow, you start with the beige sienna. If you want a lighter shadow, you start with the grayed lavender. So I'm going to do it with the beige sienna. So I'm going to look on my cheat sheet right here, and I have a shadow going around here, underneath the cheek, over the jawline, down the neck, under the lips, the nose, the side of the nose, the other side of the nose, and up at the hairline. So this is where I'm going to put it. Now you want to go lightly and you want to make it smooth. You can use your glazing stroke. If you don't know what a glazing stroke is, I have a video on it. This is going to be the stroke that we're going to be using a lot. That's why I wanted everybody to watch that video. Sorry, okay. So here we go, and we're going to put it in all the areas that are on the cheat sheet. Now, if you're doing a different picture, then you put it into the areas that when you look on the picture, the reference picture, that's where the shadows go. So I've got my, I'm doing it darker, as I said. So I've got my beige sienna. Okay, now I'm going to put it, now sometimes there's a lot more on the other side of the eye. It doesn't have much, but it does have it by its nose. And then you're going to put it on the other side of the nose, lightly, going around the nostril, under the nose, under the lips. Now I'm doing this very fast, just for video purposes. You're going to put it under the lip. On the other side, we're going to go down the side of the face, and then under the cheekbone, and then sort of square back. So it's going to have that, you know, when you make a pucker to put on blush. So just think of the blush face. You're going to put that into that area. You're going to go down the neck and about, on this picture, about a ½ inch all the way down the chest and a little bit to the side. Still all with that beige sienna. and you want to make sure it's smooth. Now, of course, I would make it much more smooth if I was sitting here by myself playing. Don't forget to crosshatch. Crosshatching fills in the gaps. Just so that you know, a lot of the in-between coloring I do cut because you're not going to watch me do this for 2 hours. And just get down. Okay, for our purposes, that's fine. Then I'm going to take the grayed lavender and I'm going to go over the beige sienna. Wherever that beige sienna was, second color should be the lavender. Same exact spots. What this is doing is it's creating the shadow for it's creating a cool shadow base, which is going to set the tone for your skin. Wait until you see what happens when the magic happens. Now, this is usually not taught to beginners. That's why I never taught this before. But now we're not beginning students. We're intermediate, with beginners being... I'm simplifying it for beginners too. So this is good for both. See, it's still very light. I have plenty of tooth. Okay. So now you have a neutral shadow. Now the magic happens. What most people start off with as you build your colors is you start out with the light peach. Okay. One other trick that you can do is, if you want to have really smooth, extend the lavender slightly beyond the sienna beige, just a little bit, and that helps give you a color gradient that will blend into smooth skin. So here you have just it's extending. Okay, now you start whatever recipe you use. I always start with light peach. Everybody has their own favorite recipe. So I'm going to do a very light peach, and I'm going to cover the whole face with that, except in some of the really highlights. I usually just leave that open for now. What happens is you're going to see a natural shadow because your colors have created it, your underbase. Sorry, my turntable does not turn when I have to turn my picture, only because I have my tripod sitting right by the base, so it jams up. When I'm alone and I'm just doing art, I don't have a tripod sitting between me and my paper. See, if you're doing this properly, it's going to be very light. Your first bottom layer, you're creating that undertone. Crosshatch. Now I'm going really quickly. I don't recommend going this fast, but for the sake of YouTube, we'd be here till next Christmas. I'm going to leave a little bit open over there. You don't have to, because when you add your top tones, you avoid that area and you've got that light peach base. But I'm kind of going fast because I want the camera to be able to pick up the tonal difference. I'm trying not to make too many wayward lines as I do this quick, which is not easy. Remember, no scribbling. It's hard to tell because I don't lift it up all that much, but every stroke I'm going like that. I'm not going like this. It's just that I've been doing it like that so long, it's kind of hard to see it, but I don't want to give anybody the wrong impression that it's okay to scribble, because it's not. We're artists. We use strokes. We don't just willy-nilly it. Okay, that's my light peach. Now I'm going to get out my peach. This is my go-to recipe. Yours may be different. It's okay. And I'm going to go over the same areas, building that tone up. See, I got a couple of wayward lines there. It happens. They blend in. Just remember, do not rush. Do as I say, not as I do. Okay, I'm going to move on. I would still work on this. I'm going to just move on to color number 3, which I usually use rose, but let me find it. No, I'm sorry. Nectar comes next. Nectar I don't put over everything. I usually use nectar where I want my areas darker, so you'll really see it in your shadowed areas. But isn't that easy? I'm not even thinking shadows anymore. I'm just doing my thing, which my thing is getting a little sloppy as I'm running out of time. Now, just so that you could see it, you can, even though it's starting to turn skin tone, you can see where your shadows are in there. You never have to think about them again. Well, we're going to darken them up a bit, but you really don't have to worry about it. I'm starting to get a natural highlight over here. a natural highlight by the eyes. This is probably the fastest face I've ever done. Okay, then I would go back. This is really where the artistic flair comes. I would go back and start repeating colors like you would shaping the face. Remember, you haven't blended this yet, so she looks a little muddy now. It's because you haven't done your thing. These are just layers that we're putting on. And I'm gonna go and I'm gonna get some more light peach in there, like I always do for I'm just following what I do for my regular skin tones. Now, of course, if you want to make darker or tan or a yellow undercoat, you can go ahead and do that. You can actually do this with your yellow undercoats. When you're doing a yellow undertone, you can actually use the same exact pencils. The lavender and the sienna beige will do the same exact thing, warm or cold, warm or cool. They're neutral pencils. Now I'm going to I wouldn't do this in a normal situation. I would probably add in a little bit more rosy colors. I would go to find it. Now, my pink rose, I like to put right in the apple. You can put her makeup on, however you want to do this. And now, I would be repeating these layers over and over, but I just want to blend it out because it's time to blend it out. And we're going to pretend all my layers are smooth, and I'm doing my circular stroke. That's the blending of your colors. And I'm using the light peach because that's my lightest color. And see how your skin is starting to look like it's got shadow, it's got depth. Once you get everything in there. Now, I always leave a highlight right at the nose. And of course, you have to do your features. But you can actually see where I'm going with this. Now, I'm not going to do the whole thing right now because we'll be here forever. I know I keep saying that. I'm going to take a little bit of cool gray, which of course I picked up warm gray. Cool gray 50%. Earlier today, I couldn't find my cool grays. Okay, I think this is 50%. No, this is 30. Should have known that. It's 50 warm. Don't want that. No. Okay, so we're going to pretend she's all smooth. I'm going to take 50% cool gray and I'm going to put it right on the jawline. Very close up to where the head and neck meet and into the recess right there. This should be your darkest shadow right here that I'm working on. Now, of course, everything looks funny with her skin tone and everything else on the paper being white. Once you have other things on the paper, everything sort of evens itself. So I'm going to jump ahead a little bit. And the three colors for the blonde hair that are yellow, that you have a choice of, are cool yellows. And I know yellow is a warm color, but I told you at the beginning that within each color, you have a warm and a cool. So the three colors available to you that are in the cools that are in the Prismacolor set are cream, deco yellow, and believe it or not, lemon yellow is a cool color. And you could really tell that that is true when you put it up against, let me see if I can get a scrap. Okay, here's your lemon yellow, and then you put it up against your canary yellow. Now we're talking about temperature, and if you could see, canary yellow is much warmer than the lemon yellow. So as a rule, in hair, now this isn't a hair video, this is a temperature video, but I'm going to give you a little tip here. As a rule, all the areas that are raised, like say this one, is where your brightest color is going to go. That's going to give you a nice highlight. Okay, so I would choose there. I may choose over here. I would look on my reference picture. See, I can't turn it because my camera is in the way. But up here where the sun would hit it. Now, what's nice about this is now you go with your lavender over your sienna. This is creating a neutral base. It's that lavender that's so important when it comes to yellow. That's going to take down the temperature. And you go over it. See what a difference that makes? makes it look like it's the recesses, the inside of what blonde hair has. You could see it on the one that I was working on more in here, the recesses. So I hope you understand the differences between the cool and the warm. We are going to be working with this a lot. This was just the first video. And I am going to talk to you about atmospheric. So atmospheric, cool, and warm. The shadows do change. I have a whole other recipe for the shadows that you use when it's atmospheric. So I will see you in my next video. Take care. Bye-bye.